Welcome to the value meta. We're continuing our exploration of the colors of magic with a mono red devotion budget list here. So as you can see from the breakdown here, this is a free mythic 14 rare list. It does have a few more rares here. You can make do with some others, but we'll go through them as we get to it. The deck is the same as the mono black devotion list. We just want to play a bunch of spells that leave things on the battlefield with a red pip or multiple red pips in them to generate value from certain cards and do a huge win that way. So going through the deck, we'll start with our lands. Similar to mono black, we just have 20 basic mountains and 4 Shrine to Nykthos. For those you aren't aware, this is a legendary land that we can tap to and tap it to choose a color of mana and add color equal to devotion, the number of pips on the battlefield. So it's basically a ramp spell in certain situations. So what do we want to drop on the field? Well, we've got 4 Clockwork Percussionist. This is a hasty 1/1, but if it dies we can still exile, so it does give us card neutrality, but it's 1 devotion. We have Omen of the Forge, which is basically a shock that's 1 more expensive, but does leave a red pip on the battlefield and does have an ability to scry in an emergency if you want to pay 3 to sack it. Then we have the Bitter Reunion. This is basically a looting effect. We get to discard a card and draw 2 cards. We can also give our creatures haste if we want to by sacrificing it. But again, it's a value effect that helps us churn through our deck and gives us devotion on the battlefield. Moving up, we then have Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I mean, this card is legendary and pioneer, doesn't need much of an introduction. Chapter 1 makes us a shaman, which can make us treasures. We can then loot away. Then it flips into a token, which can copy other creatures, which will become relevant later. We then have Summon GF Ifrit. This is a 2/3, which can make us loot twice, then give us mana. It's also a devotion. We have 4 copies of Leyline of Combustion. So this is a fun little inclusion. It's something that if we have it on a battlefield, if we have an opening hand, we can immediately throw it onto the battlefield, and that'll give us immediately 2 devotion. But the static ability to ping an opponent for 2 whenever they try to remove our stuff can be very relevant in this deck if we're up against an opponent trying to remove all our devotion. So with those in mind, let's keep going. Let's talk about what we can actually pay off with our devotion here. So we have 4 copies of Annex Hardened in the Forge. So Annex's power is equal to the devotion we currently have. So he's a free drop that could easily be a 7/8 free if we wanted him to. He also has this nice ability that if any of our creatures die, we can make tokens to keep pressure on, because we are basically still an aggro deck. Then we have our version of Grey Merchant of Asphodel. So this is Fanatic of Mogus. It's 3 and a red for 4/2. We got 4 copies of it. When this enters, we deal damage to an opponent equal to our devotion to red. So it's a big dome out of nowhere. Finally, we have 2 copies of Banefire. If we have a huge amount of devotion and we can sink like 8 or 10 mana in, a huge burn spell to close out the game can be pretty relevant. But 9 times out of 10, we will win with like a Fanatic of Mogus or an Annex's big finish. Now, one of the other things I said as well is one of the reasons we run Fable is when Fable flips, we lose that 1 devotion. But if a Fable's active, we can copy a Fanatic of Mogus to just keep doing more damage. And finally, our final pieces are Mythic in this deck. We have Clive, Ifrit's Dominant. He is a 6 mana 5/5. When he enters, we may discard our hand and draw cards equal to our devotion to red. So we can churn through our deck to find Moguses and other things super easy. But we can also pay 6 and tap him to transform him into Ifrit, Warden of the Inferno, a 9/9 that will fight a creature on entry, so it's basically a removal spell. Then chapters 2 and 3 will add us a ton of mana. So we can ramp into Clive, then flip him, do damage, whatever we need to. But that is basically the deck. It's the same premise as mono black. We put devotion on the battlefield and we get a big payout. Let's see how it goes. First match here with red devotion. Yeah, this looks pretty good. So let's throw out a Leyline of Combustion and drop a mountain. So that immediately gives us 2 devotion. Opponent has a Venerated Rot Priest. Okay, I'm going to Omen of the Forge, take that out immediately. What's funny is, since that isn't a spell targeting the opponent, it doesn't actually do anything. So let's immediately go with a Bitter Reunion. We can then discard this mountain to draw 2 cards. We'll play the Clockwork Percussionist, just hit him for 1 and pass back. We're up to 5 devotion already, so this is going pretty well here. Opponent uses their Beseiju to take out the ley line. Okay. We'll just get another mountain to ramp us. Pretty good there. Pass back. Draw a card. We'll play another bit of reunion here. We'll discard this other mountain to draw 2. We find Annex hardening the forge, so we'll play Annex and pass back. He's a 6-3 already. It's pretty good. Opponent goes for Drowning Ichor to kill the Annex. Makes us a 1-1. Play a land. We'll swing in for 2. Let's hold up these Omen of the Forges for the end step. We could also just use them to scry if we wanted to. Opponent plays a battle. Okay. Flash in an Omen of the Forge. Deal 2 damage to it. Let's pop the Omen to see what we can find here. Oh, that's perfect. So we have Clive and a Fanatic. I'm going to choose to get Clive first because we can Clive, then flip him. So let's drop the Omen of the Forge, do 2 damage here. Swing to our turn. Play Clive. He will give us a devotion of 7, so we'll draw 7 cards. And our opponent concedes, seeing enough. Yeah, they struggle for land there. They threw away a Beseiju for no reason, but interesting. So that's a good first showing of this deck. I don't think it did too much, but it was fun, and we did see pretty good here. I seem to have left the recording running a little late, so we'll cut that bit at the end. Alright, Red Devotion, game 2. Let's see what we can get here. Bit of reunion into Annex or Fable, pretty good. Opponent's ramping with a Llanowar Elf, so Omen of the Forge would have been pretty good in this opening hand. More ramp, so it's either mono green or elves. Drop a land. Play the Bitter Reunion. Yeah, it's still better to use Bitter Reunion here. We're going to drop one of our lands to draw 2. Alright, triple Annex is a thing that can happen. There's a Bushwhack searching for a land. Alright, they're probably ramping to something very scary. Mono best of 1 players will often ramp into something huge like an Ugin or an Ulamog, so let's get a Fable down to just keep digging for answers here. It's also a roadblock against their little 1/1s. Let's make them commit something big to the board. Invasion of Zendikar, they're just getting more mana. Alright, I'm still scared because something big could come out of nowhere here. There's a Clive, so I'm going to get rid of an Annex and a basic land. Right, there's a Nickfoss, so we'll get that online. Play Annex, then cast the Clockwork Percussionist. I'm going to go in with the Fable token here, just see if we can get more mana online. I'm thinking a huge Clive, if we can keep this board alive for a turn, might be pretty relevant here. Right, there's 8 mana on the field. Oh. Right. I'm going to block with the Percussionist here. There's no way they don't have a pump spell. Snakeskin Veil, yeah, makes sense. Do they have another pump spell? No? Okay. Let's see what the Clockwork Percussionist gets us off the top. Omen of the Forge. Not bad, not bad. So, flip the Fable. Play land. Play Omen. Let's take out one of the elves that can block here. Oh, they had a second Skin Veil. Interesting. Right, we have 5 mana currently. Yeah, let's just Bitter Reunion. We'll discard the Mountain again, draw 2. There's 2 more Omen of the Forges. Alright, I'm saying we go in with both of these. Let's see if they want to kill the Annex. They had the 3rd Snakeskin Veil. Wow, that's crazy. Alright, they block the Annex. He makes us 2 tokens. We can pass back. They have 7 mana, so potentially something huge. And they concede, okay. I guess they didn't draw their big payoff. Last match with Mono Red Devotion. Well, probably going to move this one up to the front. Okay, so again, a Nickfoss in the opening hand. Some options. This will do. Fanatic of Mogus, which will be fun. World Tree and a Yurion. Okay, this could be the Niv match, which would be scary. So let's drop a mountain, draw 2. I think we need to put pressure on the opponent. So, Oh, it's a shrine deck. Oh yeah, I remember now. So, play a land, swing with the percussionist, pass back. They go for the Spirit Oasis. Let's flash in Omen of the Forge here. Do 2 damage to their face. Draw for turn. Clive's another good one, so let's play Annex. Swing in for the 1. Pass back. So, Fnatic here is 6 damage if they don't destroy our board here. Right, let's see what they go for. Fnatic of Mogus. They tap down Annex so it doesn't do damage. Fnatic does 6. We'll crack the Bitter Reunion to give the Mogus haste. Hits them down to 5. Alright, let's see what they've got. Play a land. There's a Verdict, however. Annex will make us 5 unblockable 1/1s, and that'll win us the game. That was a fast one, but we did show off Mogus. And there's a Clive. Good games. That's Red Devotion.